Welcome to Muslim Apologetics Australia. Just a day or so ago, I posted a video called My Thoughts on Live Stage Interfaith Debates. Does it win debates? In this video, and I'll post the hyperlink below this video so you can go and watch it for yourself and see, I pointed out some of the advantages and disadvantages of engaging Christians on a one-on-one audio debate platform, such as giving equal time, whether it's 30 minutes or 45 minutes on each side, which follows a counter-rebuttal section and a crossfire section, and then the two debaters will usually end with a closing statement. In that discussion, I showed the advantages and the disadvantages. And the advantages were, it's more or less not about getting to the whole truth of things. Rather, it's more about promotion. And I explained my reasons why, where you have limited time frame. If a Christian posts a question that you've never heard before, you obviously can't respond back until it requires more research. Therefore, if you're not going to be able to answer him on the spot, it's going to look like a victory for the Christian. And he may claim it's a victory, but in reality, is it a victory? It's not. It just means that people are always limited in knowledge and it requires more research. And of course, in a debate, when you're in a setting of 45 minutes on each side or 35 minutes, you can't basically say to your opponent, look, I need to go off, I need to research the matter, and I need to come back to you. It doesn't work that way. And so that's why I pointed out the advantages and the disadvantages. I actually pointed out to the Christian opponents that this is why I prefer to do, for example, text debates on Facebook. Why? Because you have endless amount of time. You're not subjugated and limited to a particular time frame. And if a Christian posts a question, you can go off, you can do your research on other articles, on other archive information. You can get a lot more informed about that particular question. And of course, you can readdress him. Now, I pointed out this reality to an individual called Chris Claus. Let's have a listen. Now, listen to this exchange. It's very, very important. And you will see why Christians are actually refusing to have text debates. And they're refusing to have this text debate because the information requires research, and Christians do not want Muslims to research the questions raised by Christians, because if the evidence and the accusation gets researched, they're going to get easily refuted. So watch how in this discussion, how they were trying to move me in particularly to an audio debate where it's easy for the Christian to get away with lies and he'll go unchecked and unchallenged. So basically, Chris made an accusation. He said, for example, that he can prove that Muhammad, peace be upon him's experience in the cave, where he claimed to see Angel Gabriel, it was actually based on a dream, and that Prophet Muhammad said in a hadith that if you see a good dream, it's from the angels and so forth. If you see a bad dream, it's from Satan and so forth. So he was basically trying to say that Prophet Muhammad showed signs that he claimed to see Satan. And so if it was correlated to a dream, it means that this dream was actually from Satan. So I actually challenged him on this, and I basically said to him, quote the hadith. Quote the hadith, and I'm going to record the Facebook text screen. And what we'll do is we'll have the debate here and we'll upload it on YouTube so everyone can see the exchange. So I demanded him to bring the hadith and let's then engage in this text debate. And you know what Chris said? Have a look in the screen. You can actually see him here. He says, Well, instead of using my text, I'll do a video response for you to refute about how Muhammad received his revelation. Chris then said he's willing to do a voice debate anytime about this subject. So my response back to Chris was, why are you running? Let's have a text debate here. I'll record the whole screen and we'll basically just publish it on YouTube, and I'll narrate exactly verbatim what you said, and then I'll narrate exactly what I said, and we'll publish it on YouTube. There's no problem. And I said, so let's begin. Bring us the narration that says his first experience in the cave was a dream. Waiting. By the way, I started recording the screen anyway. And look what Chris says. He says, I don't text debate. Simple reason, people rely on copy-paste and I prefer voice chat. So this is interesting. This is coming from Chris, who actually does engage people in text debates, right? But when I actually challenged him on a professional one-on-one text debate, he doesn't want to debate anymore. He prefers to do voice. So notice how he's already feeling uncomfortable. He's feeling the heat, right? Because this is what they want to do. They want to take you to somewhere where there's limited time frame, so then they can start spreading all their lies and you're not going to be given enough research and time to respond. So then I made a challenge to him. I said, look, sure, I'll do a voice chat, but are you prepared to wait on the microphone for hours on end, since one would need time to research the presented arguments? So this is why you Christians can never win in a text debate, because text debates are given thorough time for the presented sources to be researched, whereas in audio debate, with limited time, things cannot be thoroughly researched to then be responded to more efficiently. So tell us, why are you running from this reality? So look what Chris says. Chris says, many people can present their evidence in given time. As said, before I will voice debate, but not in a text. People who do text debate copy and paste and claim it's their argument. Problem is, on voice, they are trapped and cannot copy and paste. So he's basically making an excuse, right? But my response to him is, copy-paste arguments? LOL. You're not the first to come up with the arguments. You also take the work of others to present them here. You're not the first to make such claims about Muhammad having these visions and these dreams in the hadith. And there is nothing wrong with copying and pasting other people's materials so long as you reference the person that you may be quoting from. Notice how he says on voice, they get trapped. So in other words, what you're saying is you would rather trap a person on the spot, so you give him no room to research the matter. How is that premise even honest? That's not honesty in determining truth. That's rather trying to beat down the individual rather than taking down Islam. See, folks, listen carefully. This is why Christians invite you to a limited microphone, so they can bring up all this unchecked garbage, then try and silence you by then trapping you by the time, and so you are unable to go away and research the matter to give an informed response back. They do this because they know how their arguments are just twisted, fabricated lies, so they do not wish to give time to the Muslim to be able to be informed about the matter. Talk about being insecure about the strength of your arguments. For that reason, I will not accept a voice-limited debate. If you're not afraid, enter a text debate where all the information presented is given time for that matter to be thoroughly researched, then responded to. Or would you rather go on audio debate where things are not thoroughly researched? Chris Claus proved my point. People who fear true research run to only one-on-one limited debates as explained in my video in part 1. Funny Chris has had no issue debating in text in the past with me. Now he suddenly wants to run to a limited platform like an audio debate. Chris then responds back and says, I love how you guys run from a voice debate and rather stick to text debates. Then you say we are not sincere because we prefer to voice debate. Shabir Ali Akil Encore Ijaz, he says, Mustafa Adnan Rashid Shadid Lewis Yusuf Ismail, all of these people voice debate and very little, if no, text debate. So would you say these men aren't sincere? You two can... I'm not too sure what he's saying. You two can say this and that about us not wanting to text debate, but it will not provoke us. He's clearly running. My response back to Chris is, all the Muslim apologists you reference, because they participate in voice debates, do not mean they are not sincere. It just means they need to start lifting their game and start to think ahead. For why I'm raising new awareness. If you bothered to watch my explanation in the video, I gave very good reasons to the benefits and the disadvantages of such audio debates. But let me make it clear, Christians like Chris may sound like a good debater on audio. He may even win some of his debates in audio format due to the debating issues that I've mentioned on audio that are limited in research. However, I can assure you he will extremely struggle in a text debate. And this is the reason why he's running from it, because text debates give enough time for each individual to thoroughly research the information before they can make an informed response. And guess what Chris does, folks? In the end, he tags my name and he laughs. He laughs. He basically laughs. See how they get caught out, folks? They get caught out because they are afraid to come to a text debate where all the information is thoroughly researched. All the information. Because if Chris gives me a question, and let's say I've never heard that hadith before, well, he's not going to be able to get away with it in an audio debate where I say, oh, look, Chris, I need to come back to you another day. No, we solve the matter right then and there. I could tell Chris in the text, just hold on a second, just give me a few hours or whatever, or till the next day, I'll research the matter and I'll give you an informed response. But you see, he does not want you to do that. And they are afraid to do that. Because like I said, they can never, ever, ever go unchecked when it comes to a text debate. But they can go unchecked if they go into an audio debate. And that's why he's running from it. Thank you for listening, folks. I wanted to give you an awareness. If you are a Muslim apologist out there, I think that before you enter, I'm not against audio debates. I'm not saying you shouldn't do audio debates. You can do it. As far as I care, it's your opinion. You could do what you want. But I would rather do an academic, proper, thoroughly researched text debate rather than going to an audio debate where things aren't always checked and researched and thus you can't give a response. And like I said, audio debates, I think the advantages are about getting promotion, people get more noticed and so forth. In that aspect is good. But if you want to do a detailed rebuttal, a detailed response, I don't think audio debates or stage debates are sufficient. And I'm not even the one making that claim. Christians themselves, honest Christians themselves actually admit that is true. Because if you look at even people like, say Sam Shimon, like I said in my original video, When you look at people like Dr. James White, when you look at people like Jonathan McClatchy, some of those Christians, they always do reviews at the end of debates. Why? Because there are certain questions they didn't have an answer for. So what they'll do is they'll go back and make review videos and responses. Well, what's the point of ending the debate where you couldn't address all the questions and then you go off doing this review debate when you can just end it and finish it all at once in a text debate? So they even understand themselves that doing one-on-one debates do not ultimately get to the truth of all things. And this is why sneaky, tactical Christians who understand that their arguments do not really hold weight, it is those people who will try and sneak you into an audio platform so they can throw you all of these questions and then it can go unchecked. Don't get misled into their games. Thank you.